Every day, the forest of Ghana is legally and illegally tampered with, making one wonder what will become of the nation's forests in the next 50 years.
And from the FAO data, 65,000 hectares of forest are lost in a year, and that is what we are grappling with now. And to also see that whilst we were losing 65,000 hectares per year, we also started doing afforestation. So the dynamics of the forest has also changed. So although we might say that we have 65,000 hectares lost, we have also had a gain in the total calculation of whatever we have so far. But what we can always say is that the closed forest, which we all know, is what has reduced drastically.
Estimation is that over 1 million people in Ghana are dependent on forest. Not necessarily everything is coming, but they have a lot of resources, food resources that comes from the forest. What it means is that once the area is no longer forest, that provision of the forest is no longer there. Okay. If you talk about water resources, most of the forest reserves we have in Ghana are named after water. So you see, a typical example is ITTO Forest Reserve, which is the headwaters for the Densu River. So it means that if those forests are cleared, there's a high likelihood that the level of water that flows into our rivers, for which is supply, is going to go down. That's another part. Another part you want to consider is that a lot of the reservations that were done in this country were done also for the purpose of cocoa. The reason why cocoa doesn't grow in the north is because of rainfall pattern. It's because of the climate. That microclimate that is needed for cocoa growing is provided by forest. There's no question about that. So the logic is that if there is no forest, a majority of the conditions, the condition that is necessary for cocoa production is going to go away.
The Etiwa forest in the eastern region of Ghana is the most affected by illegal logging, commonly referred to as chainsaw or bushcat. Due to the excessive nature of the illegal logging which goes on here, forest officers have been employed to arrest perpetrators of the crime. Today, the officers are on their routine checks and they can hear the sound of chainsaw operators, an indication that illegal logging is ongoing. They make a move to make some arrests. One forest officer at the Etiwa forest, Mr. Isaac Jechi, tells us the difficulties they face in arresting illegal loggers.
Yeah, at times we are able to get them, but if you are lucky, by the time you get to them, they also put somebody to be watchful for them. So maybe by the time you get there, they will see you and then they will run to inform the chiefs. At times they even use a mobile phone to alert them by way of vibration to alert them. So before you get there, they've already run away.
The district forestry manager at Achimda in the eastern region, Dorothy Damson, was not enthused about the laws on illegal logging because they are not deterring enough. She called for stiffer punishment on perpetrators.
Recently, it wasn't Oboyo, but we had a case around, I think it's Sinapa. It was a Sinapa. We arrested the person. People come in pleading. So once you put your foot down, and it's not only forestry, you have the judiciary, you have the police, You don't know what happens. The person goes to court. The person pleads guilty on that day. The person is fined, or the person will have to go to jail if he's not able to pay for the fine. There and then, the person pays the fine. So it's obvious the person knew the outcome before coming. But what we console ourselves with is that we've managed to arrest somebody. We've managed to get the person prosecuted. That alone wards them off.
Okay.
Because before he would go back again, he would sit and then think twice. Because once you are arrested, you are put behind bars for 48 hours before you go back. Somebody have to bail you. You need to report to. All these inconveniences, most of the time, deters them.
The construction industry in Ghana has for the last 10 years witnessed a boom, and this is having a dire consequence on the forests. This is because every block laid indirectly places a demand on the already overstretched forest resources. Benjamin Yamu is a building contractor based in Ghana's capital, Accra. His work is tied to the wooden industry, and he blames the lack of quality wood on the market to illegal logging. BK, as he is affectionately called, points to these rotten doors as the result of illegal logging.
We thought the source would have been of help to us. I realized they are for the same doors as we have done in Accra. Each time you fix them, they twist, so that in about a year or two, the owners of the houses come complaining. Therefore, they are also fit, and we have them in our storeroom. We have them so many in our storeroom. Both of them are not the best quality we used to have, as compared to what we have had in the past and we're using. Yeah. We have some 2x6 used for the frames that are all rotten. You buy them, you kill them, and you put them on the buildings. In less than 6 months, the whole thing starts getting rotting in the framework, so that you don't have any use for the materials. You got to get them off, redo at a new cost to yourself, because the owner will not actually bear that kind of cost for you. And we believe it's all the result of using layers grown wood as compared to the former matured wood we used to be getting. Before you could use Wawa like 3, 4, 5 times. Now you use Wawa once and you have to condemn the whole thing. And the price keeps on escalating. Have them packed without any use. That's why we have to resort to use the bamboo to now enable us, suspend whatever we are doing in the construction industry. But the 2x6 don't come out very, very well.
BK's wife runs a restaurant at La, near Zenith College in Accra. This wooden structure was built to shield patrons from being seen by passers-by, but it has given up within a space of just 1 year.
My investigations as a contractor shows that the wood we used for the construction was the bush cat. They look bigger, they look more robust, but in fact they are wood that cannot be attested to be fine because the lifespan of the wood is less than a year or 2, as compared to whatever the sawmill has in store for us. That makes the lifespan a bit better for us.
In 1952, this wood processing company was established in La. It was the first to be established there, and BK is one of the clients of this company. The co-manager, Mr. Francis Tego, says the building industry in Ghana is growing at a fast pace, but it is becoming more difficult to get quality wood on the market.
In the process of a bush cut, there's a lot of waste because the chainsaw they use is normally used for felling the tree, so that after the tree has been felling, it should be moved to the sawmill machine for the sawmill machines to be used in splitting them into pieces. But when they use the chainsaw, the teeth of the chainsaw machine is thick, so it used to create a lot of waste. And normally they don't get the correct size of wood that is specific for the carpentry or the workshop to be used. So normally they create a lot of waste, and by felling a lot of the trees from the forest, they are creating a very big deforestation.
This is cut by a chainsaw. So edges are very, very, very rough. That's as you can see all through. The sawmill machines are quite clear and the edges are very, very smooth. So where this one shows the roughness of the sawmilling machine or the sawmill machine that the bushcat will refer to, this is basically the organized system we have in the system, so that whatever the edge that you are doing is quite smooth and you can actually be able to have the two clarified in between. You can see the smoothness of this one and the roughness of the other one lying on the floor here. So depending on the way you look at it, if you're experienced, you can actually know exactly what you would to buy instead of going for the rough ones you feel are cheaper from the market, which are actually called the bush cats.
Sawmills have the same size throughout. If it's 1 inch thick, it is 1 inch throughout to the length. If it's 15 feet or 18 feet, it is the same thickness throughout to the full length. But normally the bush cat, you see some part 1.5, some part 2 inches, some part 1 inch. So all these have to be re-straightened, and by straightening it, you create a lot of waste to get the actual size. So normally, we as professionals in the work, we normally use the sawmill to have the correct size of wood we want to work with. And normally, we buy our products from our suppliers at Timber Market, who got their product from the big sawmills from Akimodan and sometimes from Kumasi, Ashanti region.
This is the timber market at Achimda, one of the hubs of timber firms in Ghana. Here, the traders of wood admit that illegal logging activities in the forest will have dire consequences on the nation and even on their work. But they appeal to the authorities that sawn wood from major companies should be made affordable.
The government did a law that the sawmillers should bring their product, 20% of their product, to the local market. But that law is not working. You can't get it. That's why people are stealing the wood from the forest. Because you can't get the wood to work from the sawmillers. You get me? We want government to enforce the law so that they will bring some of their products to the local market.
The story was not different from wood sellers at the timber market in Accra. They were of the view that a law should be made to promote tree planting in the forests. An NGO, the Nature and Development Foundation, NDF, is also complementing efforts of state institutions to save Ghana's forests from further depletion.
In terms of the economy, if somebody logs 1 cubic meter and you sold it and you charge VAT on it, let's say you pay even 1 CD on 1 cubic meter of log you buy. That's the formal one if you buy illegally. If you buy it illegally, you don't pay anything. You just pay the price of what they decide to sell to you, but you don't pay any tax on it. What it means is that government itself is losing big in almost all the timber that is sold in the market in Ghana. Illegal logging. Maybe the 80% of what we say is in the market, the 80% of the illegally logged timber that is in the market. Government gains nothing as way of tax from that.
In Ghana, it seems the laws make the procurement of wood from legal sources more difficult than to resort to the illegal way. This, to a large extent, has led to the flooding of the market with wood from illegal sources.
We have about 700,000 cubic meters of wood that is lost through chainsawing per year. And let me explain this. The forest of Ghana that we have can support the removal of 2 million cubic meters per year. If we want to stay exploit in a sustainable manner, the maximum that it can give us is 2 million. So if chainsaw is consuming 750 or 700,000, it means that we are left with 1.3 that we can officially exploit. But the official figures are 2 million. So added on chainsaw, you are overexploiting the forest.
A Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Ms. Barbara Sewa Samoa, said government is the biggest player in the wood business, and as part of moves to stop illegal logging, it will procure wood from only legal sources.
The ministry has come to the realization that the motivation for engaging in illegal practices so far as the timber sector is concerned is the fact that they have markets for it. And as we are all aware, government is the lead developer of this country. So we have sent proposals to cabinet and we are waiting for approval. That will ensure that every government project that requires the use of timber products will be acquired from a legal source. Once we are able to implement this policy, it will constrict the market for illegal timber. And once there is no market for it, there will be no motivation for people to engage in illegal activities. And then again, we have also realized that because there is not enough timber products on the domestic market, that is also another avenue for people who want to feed the domestic market to engage in illegal activities. That is why we are also collaborating with the timber firms to ensure that they import timber from other countries, most especially to feed the domestic market. And once we are able to feed the domestic market and then there's enough timber products on the market from legal source, of course, then those who are engaged in illegal practices will not have any market.
A poet, Kabonate, adds his voice to the call for the patronage of wood from only legal sources.
And now connect your umbilical cord to the Deuteronomical truth that the life of the trees of the field is man's life. Move back to the Procurement Act to act right. Now let's move back to the market. Get value for money. Buy the matured as we preserve the forest to nurture the future to future the present. The right word is right wood, the watchwood. The right wood is with smooth edge, and so smooth must your edge be. The right wood is of value, and so get value for money. Your wood must be right, and so act right to buy right.